Are you tired of using a million programming languages to code a website? Well, I have a solution. So to start, you should go to the website Anvil.works, which the link is displayed up here, or you can click the link in the description. Once you're here, you should click pricing and then free and click sign up. After you've signed up for Anvil, there's multiple things on the home page. So for more in-depth tutorials specifically for Anvil, you should click resources, docs, and it leads you to this page, which shows you how to get started with Anvil. So to create a new project, you should click start building and new blank app. And you can pick any of these, but for now we're going to use classic. And it'll ask you which style of classic you'll want, and I'll click blank panel. So once you've entered, your page should look something like this. There are 6 components to the Anvil editor. So first, there is the sidebar, which you can click any one of these to show the sidebar. So the first icon on the sidebar shows the server code, your assets, and your forms. And your forms are basically your pages where you code. The second button are your database tables, which we will talk about later in the series. The third icon leads you to the settings of your app, which can be used for customization and stuff. The fourth button is for logs. The fifth button is for themes, which is mainly for editing the color scheme. And then the sixth bar is searching for stuff in your components. And then the seventh is to add other features to your app. So back to the main page, the second part of the editor are these buttons up here. Add some arrows or zoom in. There are design, code, and split buttons, which design looks like the main code is where you write your code, and split is where your code and design are. The third part is the run button. This can be used to run your project to test it. So if I run it right now, it's blank. And the fourth part of the Anvil editor is the toolbox. This is where you can drag and drop things to your form. So if I wanted to drag a label, there would be a label. Or a button, there's a button. Or a drop down, or a text box. Now, this leads us to our final component of the editor, the Properties tab. The Properties tab is where you use to edit these components. So I click on the label and enter text. So I could say, hello world. And if you go back to the form editor, it says hello world. And you can do the same for buttons. So I could say button main. Actually, no. And you can use the Properties tab for other things too. So I could have it aligned in the center, the font to be Roboto. I might have spelled that wrong. But as you can see, it changes the font. And if you're wondering what fonts you can use in the Anvil editor, you can search up Google Fonts. And click the first link. And all of these, and most of these fonts you can use inside Anvil.works. As you can see, the font I use, Roboto, is the first one. And getting back to it, you can change the font size to 25, and it increases the font. You can italicize it and underline it, and add one of the preset icons. And change a lot of different things. So this was an introduction to Anvil.works, and in the next video we'll be getting into how to use the components and how to program some components. And I'll see you guys in part 2.